Thank you. Huh? 198. Be a little quicker, feel more strong. Obviously, me getting older, having some wear and tear issues in the past, man. I feel really, really good.
What is it like being back in New Orleans?
What is it like being back in New Orleans? It's great, man. You know, I've never had to wait this long into the summer to kind of figure out my team situation, but I'd rather be a late phone call to the right team than an early one to the wrong one. So happy to be back, man. These guys had a tremendous season last year, being able to jump into the second round of the playoffs. And I think what I bring to the table can, you know, fit in pretty well with what they have going on, and looking forward to get things started.
Did it surprise you, though, that you had to wait as long as you did?
It did, but, you know, I understand what it is. In any business where being younger is the sexy thing to be, so to speak. So, you know, getting older, every year you get older in this business, it's somebody else that's coming for that roster spot. So, you know, I understand it. There are 60 draft picks every year and younger free agents out there in the mix. So, you know, I totally understand.
Jarrett, do you see a good opportunity for somebody like yourself as a proven veteran in this league on this team that's really young and that has lost Rajon Rondo? Jameer Nelson was here last year. Do you feel like you could fill a similar role?
I believe so. You know, I try to bring some leadership, some grit, experience, playmaking, a combination of things, you know, some from the cerebral side and some from actual playing on the court. You know, I try to lend my hand to wherever I see fit is necessary for some positive information being shared. So, you know, that's kind of what I've hung my hat on in my 14 years, and just personally, that's what I hang my hat on. So whatever I could do to help be a positive fit for these guys and contribute to the group as a collective, I'm with it.
Being a leader, is that something that you've done your whole career, or is that something that you kind of developed over the years?
I think that just comes naturally for me as a person, you know, and I encourage other people to be leaders. You know, the truth doesn't care where it comes from. It doesn't matter if you're a 10-year vet or a rookie or whatever. If it is what it is, then you gotta respect it, you know. So, but I was never a person that was shy or nervous about saying those things, like saying those things that might cause a certain type of conversation or reaction. But as long as it has a positive result, I never shied away from those things at all.
The leadership aspect, is that something that Dell talked to you about when he was?
He did, but he doesn't have to. I think that's up to the players in uniform. You know, if you want to be good and you want to compete with these top-tier teams, especially in the Western Conference, you have to have the ability to police yourself. You know, we know what's necessary for, you know, a team to be good, you know, and wherever you fall within the pecking order of that, that's just basketball comes into play, you know, after that. But as far as establishing a mentality, a culture for what's acceptable and what's not, you know, we can determine that. You know, we don't have to have outside people to come in here and tell us, you know, what the necessary things are.
Sure, you haven't been around the team all that long, I imagine, so far. But what have you seen from AD and Drew to make you think that they're you know, basically doing all the right things and leading this team this upcoming season?
Well, AD, I mean, with him, I guess most people thinking with him being such a mild-mannered kind of guy, I guess, you know, seeing his demeanor change. You know, I see his expectation level of others and how he speaks to others has grown. You know, he comes in and lets know what's to be expected of others, and obviously we know what, you know, he expects from himself on a day-by-day. And then Drew being comfortable, you know, so I know there was a point where they wanted to play him on the ball, then off the ball, and I think they found a comfortable role for him being, you know, in the shooting guard space, allowing him just to kind of play free, the ability to go out there and score and play make. And, you know, those guys they do it well, but they do it in such different phases. And I think, you know, they've been great people to look to for these guys, great examples. And, you know, the supporting cast, man, we got to come in and we got to do our part as well.
Have you been able to work with some of the younger players on the team, like Frank or Alfred, and what do you see in their games?
I haven't yet, but I had to, because I had to sign my contract. And, you know, I'm excited, man. I think with the pieces we have, man, we have the ability to come in here and make some noise. You gonna wear a Lakers shirt and sit right in front? That's just crazy. You guys sit in the back. This is crazy. He gonna sit in the middle? This is crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. It's all right. It's all right. We ain't gonna hold it against you. Hopefully, we'll convert you by the middle of the season. Hopefully. Yeah, you know. You know what I'm saying? It's cool though. He got purple shoes on. It's crazy. There's a lot going on. Yeah, he gonna say it's for Mardi Gras season. We know what's really going on. Right.
You were here in 17, not that long.
Mhm.
But after being here then and seeing them do what they did last year, how have you kind of seen? Have you seen a lot of change in the franchise and the team? I know you talked about AD, but
Yeah.
have you seen it kind of grow a little bit?
I mean, I think what Rondo brought last year is to not go unnoticed. You know, I know him personally, and you know, as a competitor, I can see a lot of his demeanor help rub off on a lot of guys. They just have more of a serious approach. You know, when you play certain teams and when you take the court against them, you kind of fill out what they're about. And with them, you can kind of see it was kind of like a no-nonsense type attitude. We hear about business. It's not the jokey joke type stuff going on. And, you know, that's one thing that I think we need to remain as a constant if we want to be one of these teams in the Western Conference that's, you know, in the tough Western Conference that you got to battle each and every night, and if you want to try to fight for a championship.
Who do you see kind of filling that leadership for?
Me. I mean, and that's not to, you know, I just think that that's who I am. You know what I mean? You know, making people understand what's at hand, the urgency with it, and understanding that, man, when you get a good group, they don't come around all the time. You know, it's not, you don't say all the time, hey, man, you know, we trying to get to the conference finals. We was in the semifinals last year. That's not the conversation on every team every year, you know, in the league. So understanding that this is definitely a luxury. It's not something that just happens by chance, you know what I mean? And, you know, trying to take full advantage of it.
When you talk about last year with the Knicks, when you were on the bench, how important is it to bring that steadiness to the backcourt, be able to run the offense, make sure guys are in the right spots, and make sure that they're in positions where they feel comfortable?
It's very important, you know, trying to put guys in position, understanding the flow of the team, flow of the game. You know, I can't wait for tomorrow to kind of get familiar with the play calls and kind of the language of how they run things here, so the familiarity process can start. You know, I need to know how and where I can place these guys at certain points of the game, and then also within that, being able to still incorporate guys like E'Twaun Moore and Solomon Hill and Jahlil Okafor and Nico, and I hope I don't forget anybody I'm supposed to throw in there. But, you know, a number of people, because as good as those top guys are, I mean, they're only going to be as great if the supporting cast are just as lethal. You got to have the fill-in guys being able to try to contribute as well. So, you know, that makes those people that want to double-team AD a little bit more hesitant. It makes the pick-and-roll coverage be a little bit more loose if we got E'Twaun and Solo hitting from the outside and Ian and, you know, Elfrid getting in the crevices. So if we can all do it by collective and not only just do it by just leaning on our super dependent guys, I think it'll make us that much more of a force to be reckoned with.
You've been around a bunch of different teams. How unique is it to have so many talented big guys on one roster, especially in today's NBA where everybody wants to go small?
Yeah, those hybrid type bigs, man, that's kind of like what you need to be able to compete in this juncture of the NBA. You know, having Julius, a guy who can rebound, push the ball, initiate the offense, as well as make plays within the offense. AD the same thing, Nico. We don't have those more so traditional big guys who just kind of just live pretty much on the post area and just, you know, pick and roll. It's guys who can shoot from the outside who, you know, I wouldn't be surprised we see AD running the pick and roll in a small set in the screen. You know what I mean? Those different type of offensive sets. So, you know, I'm looking forward, man. Looking forward to it. I've been in conversation with the coaches and seeing what they got up their sleeve and us applying it come game time.
How do you feel physically? I mean, you know, you've had some struggles with injuries the last few years, but you did get 60-plus games last year. How do you feel, you know, just body-wise? I
feel great, man. I'm lighter than I have been in the past. I've changed some things within my diet and some other daily things. So, and it's translated into me feeling a lot more strong. I feel a lot more quick. Man, I've been chomping at the bit, being patient, but I can't wait for tomorrow to come around. Um, because it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's highs and lows. It's hills and peaks and valleys. Nothing is constant in this league usually. You're going to have a dip. You're going to have some adverse situations. You know what I mean? And just understanding, man, that it's about everything is about the next player in this league. You know what I mean? Regardless if you're having tremendous success, you can't get caught up in that either. You know what I mean? That's how you can possibly be a number 1 seed and lose to an 8th seed. You know what I mean? You're so into just understanding the task at hand all the time. You know what I mean? But not getting too bogged down in the lows of it. Because actually, me personally, I love the lows of the season much more than I love the highs. Because the lows create character. I see who's with me when we're struggling. You know what I mean? Usually when teams start to struggle, when somebody falls on the ground, they're not running over to help them up as fast anymore. Are we still high-fiving in the midst of, does the way we talk to each other change? You know what I mean? So these are the things I always look to, because most of the time when you lose, you can separate or you can get closer apart. Let's right the ship and get this thing together. So those times, I don't want too many of those, but when they happen, man, those are the times when you really got to link up and you got to grab each other tighter to be like, nah, we're not going to let this steer our ship. Only we can get ourselves back on course.
Having been a featured guy and also a supporting guy, how does that make you, how does that help you as a leader to be able to talk to anybody along the roster and understand where they've been, in their career and their roles?
I don't know, man. I just think I got an ability to be able to talk to different people in different ways where they can understand. You know what I mean? The way certain people receive certain things, it just varies upon the individual, and I try to gauge that as best I can. Being a point guard, you kind of got to juggle a lot of personalities with trying to keep everybody fed, so to speak. And I do the same thing with trying to lead, man. I might not present something the same way to somebody as I would somebody else. I try to attack different situations. Some situations need finesse. Some situations need a little bit more force in them. And that's just up to you to try to judge which one is necessary at which time. Possibly, man. I think I'm going to try my hand at it. I know it's a lot that goes into that. A lot of people think it's just a person that wears a suit, stands on the sideline and yells at the ref all day. But, now I'm being dead serious. A lot of people that think, like, when I speak to them and they tell me about the hours, like, we've been here since 7, and then they're leaving at 4. Those hours are tremendously different than what you do as a player. The strategies and how these 15 guys are dependent upon you to create things game by game to make these guys successful. So I respect what they do in the sense that just to say, like, if I have the opportunity, I would try my hand, try to learn it, as best I can. And, if it presents itself and if I think I can do a good job at it, then maybe so.
You probably heard all the buzz of pace around this team. Do you feel like you're going to have to adjust your game any? Has that been something that you're looking forward to?
No. I came in pretty good shape. I like to play in the up-tempo style. That was when they said that. I was happy to hear. And like I said, with the roster they've put together, I think we have the team that can present a lot of challenges as far as tempo is concerned in this league. Good seeing y'all, man.